Once upon a time, Loren and Alexi Bravanic were seen as the golden couple of 90 Day Fiancé. Fans loved their playful jokes, their sweet connection, and the way they seemed to overcome cultural differences together. To many viewers, they were proof that love could survive anything. On the surface, their lives looked perfect. Smiling photos, happy interviews, and a growing family made them appear unbreakable. But behind the polished images and cheerful posts, problems were quietly building. Hidden debts, trust issues, and unspoken fears slowly crept into their marriage. What looked like a fairy tale was slowly turning into something much darker. According to a secret source, family disputes eventually pushed Loren and Alexei to their breaking point. They officially divorced in August 2025. Not long after, rumors surfaced that Alexei had been in a secret relationship with a woman named Tori for 2 years. Tori lives in Australia, and reports claim they plan to marry on January 20th, 2026. It was also said that Tori agreed to help pay off Alexei's hidden $1 million debt, which played a role in his decision to end his marriage with Loren. After the divorce, Loren filed a defamation lawsuit against Alexei. Following the trial, the court reportedly found Alexei guilty and sentenced him to 1 year in prison. What once felt like a love story now sounded more like a shocking scandal. When Loren first appeared on 90 Day Fiancé, viewers connected with her immediately. She was bubbly, quirky, and completely herself. Alexei, a quiet and gentle medic from Israel, seemed like the perfect balance to her high energy. Their chemistry felt real, and fans rooted for them from the start. Their journey wasn't easy. Loren faced health struggles, cultural changes, and doubts from family members. Alexei dealt with the pressure of moving to America and starting over. Still, they pushed through together. TLC often showed them as the couple who truly made it work. When they welcomed their first child, fans praised them as a power couple. Social media was filled with comments calling them couple goals. They continued to appear on spin-offs and special episodes. Their popularity grew, and brand deals followed. To the public, they had it all. But behind the scenes, Loren was carrying more responsibility than anyone realized. Financial stress slowly took over. Even with TV money and sponsorships, expenses kept growing. Medical bills, childcare, and daily life added pressure. Loren wanted stability and planning. Alexei wanted to provide, but he didn't always explain his decisions. Bills were late. Payments went missing. When Loren asked questions, Alexei would brush it off and promise everything was under control. Arguments started quietly, then grew louder. Long nights, forgotten responsibilities, and constant stress wore them down. Friends noticed Loren looked exhausted and upset. Alexei seemed distant, often distracted by his phone. At home, tension filled the air. Even though online everything still looked perfect. What Loren didn't know was the truth Alexei was hiding. Years earlier, before fame fully took over their lives, Alexei had gotten involved in risky investments. At first, he made small profits. That success gave him confidence. But soon, losses followed. Crypto deals failed. Betting went wrong. Overseas investments collapsed. Instead of stopping, Alexei tried to fix everything by taking bigger risks. The debt kept growing. By 2023, he owed nearly $1 million to lenders and private parties. Some of them were aggressive and impatient. On camera, Alexei smiled and played the role of a devoted husband and father. Off camera, he was panicking. He took late-night phone calls, borrowed money, and hid the truth. Loren sensed something was wrong, but never imagined how serious it was. Alexei wanted to confess many times, but fear stopped him. He was scared of losing his family, his image, and the trust Loren had in him. As pressure from debt collectors increased, the weight became unbearable. What fans once believed was a perfect love story was already falling apart. Secrets, silence, and fear slowly destroyed what trust remained. In the end, the rise and fall of Loren and Alexi Bravanic became a story not of love conquering all, but of how hidden truths can bring even the strongest relationships to an end. Alexei began to panic. The pressure of the debt closed in on him every day. He thought about desperate options, selling the house, asking relatives for money, even disappearing completely. But none of those choices felt realistic. Every door seemed closed. In his mind, there was only one option left. He needed someone who could save him from the million-dollar nightmare. That was when Tori entered his life in a different way. Tori was not just a friend. She was something more. They had first met years earlier during a TLC-related fan event. It was casual at first. Tori, an Australian woman, stood out immediately. She was confident, charming, and financially secure. She seemed genuinely interested in Alexei, not just as a TV personality, but as a person. Over time, their conversations became more frequent. What started as friendly messages slowly turned into private chats. Then those chats turned into emotional conversations. By 2023, while Loren was focused on raising the children and managing daily life, Alexi began leaning on Tori for emotional support. She listened to him, she encouraged him, and eventually, she offered more than comfort. She offered him an escape. Tori knew about the debt. Alexei finally told her the truth, and unlike anyone else, she had the means to fix it. $1 million, she said, was not impossible for her, but her help came with conditions. She wanted more than friendship. She wanted a future with him. Alexei's heart raced when he understood what she was suggesting. His loyalty to Loren clashed with his desperation. He loved his wife and children, but the debt tightened its grip every single day. Could he betray the woman who had stood by him for years? Or was this the only way to survive financially? At that moment, the secret stopped being just about money. It became about choices, betrayal, and a deal that would change his life forever. Alexei's double life had officially begun. If Loren was the wife everyone admired, Tori was the hidden presence no one saw coming. Tori lived far away in Australia. She was distant from the cameras, the family stress, and Loren's daily life. But even from across the world, her influence would soon touch every part of Alexei's world. Alexei and Tori first connected during an international digital fan event in late 2021. TLC had organized a virtual meet and greet. Tori joined like many others, but she was different. She didn't ask for selfies or praise him blindly. Instead, she asked thoughtful questions. She wanted to know about his move from Israel, his struggles, and how he handled life under constant public attention. Her honesty surprised him. After the event, she sent him a private message to thank him. That message turned into a conversation. The conversation turned into regular chats. They joked, talked about life, and shared personal thoughts. Within weeks, Alexei realized he was checking his phone not for work emails or TLC updates, but for messages from Tori. Loren still loved Alexei, but their marriage had changed. With 3 young children, busy schedules, and constant responsibilities, their conversations focused on practical things. Bills, kids, work, exhaustion. Tori offered something different. She didn't pressure him. She didn't criticize. She listened. She made him feel seen again. She reminded him of who he was before fame, stress, and fear took over his life. She told him he deserved more appreciation, that he was stronger than he believed. To Alexei, drowning in debt and self-doubt, her words felt like rescue lines. By 2022, their friendship crossed a line. Late-night calls lasted for hours. Loren would fall asleep after long days with the kids, while Alexei whispered into his phone in another room. Slowly, he opened up to Tori. Not all at once, but enough. He admitted the debt. He admitted the fear that everything could collapse. Tori didn't pull away. She leaned closer. One night, she told him she could help. Her voice was calm and confident. At first, Alexei resisted. Accepting help from someone who wasn't his wife felt wrong. But as the pressure grew, the impossible began to feel possible. He began sharing things with Tori that he no longer shared with Loren. His regrets, his frustration, his fears. Tori painted a picture of a different life. A life without debt, without shame, without judgment. She promised peace, and in his fragile state, peace felt irresistible. Tori knew exactly what she was doing. She knew Alexei was married. She knew he had children. She also knew his public image mattered. And she knew she had leverage. Her family owned property and investments in Australia. She wasn't endlessly rich, but she had enough to cover his debt. She made the offer clear. She would take care of everything, but only if he chose her. Alexei didn't agree right away. The guilt crushed him, but he didn't walk away either. He kept talking to her, kept depending on her, kept escaping into her world. With every conversation, the bond grew stronger. 2 years later, that bond would pull him into a decision that would destroy his marriage. For 2 years, Alexei lived a double life. To the public, he was the loving husband and devoted father. Online, he carefully shared happy photos with Loren. Behind closed doors, he was deeply involved in a secret relationship with Tori. His days were split in two. Mornings were about family life, school routines, and filming updates. Evenings were about dinner, social media posts, and brand deals. But late at night, when the house was quiet and Loren was asleep, his other world came alive. Messages from Tori filled his phone. Calls stretched past midnight. He claimed he was working or talking to family overseas. In reality, he was sharing his deepest thoughts with someone thousands of miles away. Lying became routine. He deleted messages, cleared call logs, used private apps. When Loren noticed his constant phone use, he blamed stress or work. But small cracks appeared. Sometimes Loren caught him smiling at his phone. Other times, he seemed distant and restless after calls. Her instincts told her something was wrong. When she questioned him, he denied everything. He told her she was imagining things, that he would never hurt her. And for a while, she believed him. Tori made her presence felt in other ways. Packages arrived, labeled as fan mail. Inside were expensive gifts and sometimes cash. She promised him again and again that she would fix everything, that their future together was close. As Alexei's debt worsened, her promise became harder to resist. Loren noticed the changes. Alexei laughed lest he avoided her eyes. Their connection faded into forced moments for the camera. Friends noticed Loren seemed lonely, even when he was beside her. Some blamed stress or parenting struggles. No one knew the truth. There were close calls. Once, Loren walked in as Alexei ended a video call. She briefly saw a smiling woman on the screen. He claimed it was work. Another time, their child picked up his phone and read part of a message aloud about a future together. Alexei grabbed the phone immediately. Alexei's life had become a careful balancing act. Every day required precision. One wrong move, one unguarded message, and everything could unravel. He developed routines to stay ahead. He charged Tori's calls to separate accounts, avoided leaving messages on his main phone, and created false explanations for late nights. Loren noticed his sudden detachment, but didn't fully understand the depth of what was happening. At home, tension simmered under the surface. Meals were quieter. Laughter became strained. Loren would glance at Alexei, searching for the warmth and connection they once shared, but it seemed to retreat further each day. She didn't know it yet, but his heart and attention were slowly drifting across oceans. Alexei's guilt was a constant weight. He loved Loren, truly he did, but the combination of fear, debt, and Tori's promises clouded his judgment. He rationalized his actions. "I'm doing this for us," he told himself. "Once the debt is gone, I can fix everything." But each lie he told made it harder to return to the life he once had. Tori's influence grew stronger with time. She sent packages regularly, discreet and well-planned. Watches, designer sneakers, letters filled with words of reassurance and encouragement. Every gift, every message was a reminder of the escape she offered. She didn't just provide financial relief, she fed his emotional needs. She listened when no one else could, praised him when he felt invisible, and reminded him that he was capable of more than what Loren expected. By 2024, Alexei was completely entangled. His secret calls and messages had become a second life. While Loren managed daily chaos, he whispered hopes and fears into the phone, sharing dreams of a life free from shame and debt. Tori's presence became addictive, almost intoxicating. Each conversation left him lighter, more confident, but also more distant from his family. Loren began to sense the shift. Alexei seemed distracted, often staring at his phone, smiling at nothing, or pacing after long, hushed conversations. She questioned him gently at first. "Alex, are you okay? You seem different." Each time he reassured her, a practiced calm in his voice. "I'm just stressed with work." Nothing to worry about. And for a time, she believed him. But the cracks were widening. Loren started noticing oddities that didn't add up. A credit card statement she glanced at showed unusual charges. Packages arrived with excuses that didn't make sense. Alexei was more secretive about his schedule, suddenly protective of his phone and laptop. She began doubting herself, wondering if her instincts were exaggerating things. Even friends noticed changes. Close confidants whispered concerns to Loren. "Have you noticed he's been distant? He's laughing less around you. He seems somewhere else, even when he's home." Loren brushed it off, hoping it was just stress or exhaustion. But deep down, a small, persistent worry gnawed at her. Meanwhile, Alexei continued to make plans with Tori. They talked about dates, future visits, and eventually, marriage. The thought of a fresh start with her, free from debt and judgment, became a fixation. He convinced himself that he could navigate this without hurting anyone, without destroying the life he built with Loren. But the lies, the secrecy, and the emotional cheating were already eroding the foundation of his marriage. The first major confrontation came unexpectedly. Loren found a note Alexei had left on the kitchen counter, a string of numbers, coded words, references she didn't understand. She asked about it. He brushed it off, claiming it was business-related. But her instinct screamed otherwise. She began to watch him more closely, noticing patterns she had previously ignored. The late-night calls, the sudden disappearances, the secretive behavior. One evening, Loren accidentally saw a glimpse of Tori during a video call. Alexei had thought he was being careful, but Loren caught a smile, a face on his screen that wasn't hers. Her heart sank. She didn't yet know who the woman was, or the depth of their relationship, but she sensed betrayal. The realization was painful and confusing. From that moment, tension escalated. Arguments flared more often, small issues turning into battles. Loren confronted Alexei about his distance, his secrecy, his changing behavior. He deflected, sometimes with anger, sometimes with charm. "You're imagining things. You know I would never hurt you," he insisted, his tone practiced. And for a while, she hoped he was right. But the lies couldn't hold forever. By mid-2025, debt collectors became more aggressive. Calls and letters arrived at their Florida home. Alexei tried to shield Loren, pretending everything was under control. He leaned on Tori more heavily, texting late into the night, sharing plans, fears, and secrets. Each day, he drifted further from Loren, caught between two worlds. Loren's suspicions grew. She started keeping track of his patterns, noticing inconsistencies in his stories and schedules. She asked direct questions, but Alexei remained evasive. His skill at deception kept her from finding concrete proof, but the unease in her heart deepened. The love that had once seemed unbreakable now felt fragile, worn thin by secrets and lies. Eventually, the truth could no longer stay hidden. The divorce proceedings revealed the depth of Alexei's deception. His financial troubles, the hidden debt, and the secret relationship with Tori came to light. For Loren, the revelation was devastating. The man she had trusted, loved, and built a family with had chosen another path. The emotional betrayal cut deeper than any financial loss. Alexei's relationship with Tori, which had started as emotional support, ended up as the catalyst for the collapse of his marriage. The promises of a new life, free from debt and pressure, had blinded him to the damage he was causing. Loren, meanwhile, had to navigate the public fallout, dealing with social media scrutiny, friends and family reactions, and her own heartbreak. Through the trial and subsequent legal battles, the consequences of Alexei's choices became clear. The divorce was finalized in August 2025. The secret affair, coupled with financial deception, left him facing legal repercussions. Loren filed a defamation lawsuit against him, a move that highlighted the extent of his betrayal and dishonesty. By the end, the golden couple of 90 Day Fiancé was no more. Fans who had once adored them were left stunned, witnessing a story that had spiraled from love and hope into secrets, lies, and betrayal. The family that had seemed perfect was fractured. The life Alexei had tried to escape through Tori had come at a devastating cost. Tori, meanwhile, remained in Australia, preparing for the next chapter of her life with Alexei. The man who had been a devoted father and husband in public had made a choice that changed everything privately. Alexei's life was now divided into before and after. A before filled with family, love, and trust, and an after dominated by debt, scandal, and a new, controversial relationship. Loren, resilient as ever, began rebuilding. She focused on her children, her own well-being, and reclaiming her sense of self. Though the pain of betrayal lingered, she gradually learned to navigate life without Alexei, determined not to let the mistakes of others define her future. Meanwhile, Alexei faced the consequences of years of deception. His financial crisis was temporarily resolved thanks to Tori, but public opinion, legal issues,